Must watch. A woman will do this when you stop talking to her. Old Stoic Wisdom. Silence is a source of great strength. Lao Tzu. Let's cut through the noise for a moment. Men have long been fed a belief: if you want her attention, you must chase it. Text first, call first, carry the weight of the conversation, keep her engaged or risk losing her. But what if the real power lies in the opposite? What happens when you go quiet, when you stop reaching out, step back, and allow the silence to speak for you? That's when her true nature emerges. Most men panic in silence. They think backing off means losing ground, that if they stop initiating, she'll forget about them. But this is where the average man and the Stoic man part ways. Because here's the truth: women don't just forget. When you withdraw, you activate a powerful psychological trigger: uncertainty. And uncertainty leads to reflection, doubt, and curiosity. Her mind starts racing. Why did he go quiet? Did I do something wrong? Has he moved on? Is he seeing someone else? And those reactions, they're your answers. You don't need to ask how she feels. Just watch how she responds to your absence. That's the clearest signal you'll ever get. You see, desire isn't built through constant attention. It's forged in distance. It's not the texts and calls that make you valuable. It's your ability to walk away, to preserve your energy, and to hold your ground. Stoic wisdom teaches us this. A man who does not beg for affection commands it. When you stop talking to her, she starts feeling your value. She becomes aware of the space you once filled. And if you were a man of depth, presence, and intention, that space becomes impossible to ignore. She may test you. She may reach out subtly or dramatically. She might even pretend not to care at all. But the way she reacts to your silence is far more honest than anything she says when you're constantly available. So whether she's an ex, someone you've been dating casually, or a woman who's started pulling back, your silence will reveal her truth. Stop chasing. Start observing. Let her show you who she really is, when your energy is no longer given freely. Because attraction isn't about pursuit. It's about presence and the strength to withhold it. Now, let's dive into exactly what she'll do when you stop talking to her, and why it changes everything. 1. She starts watching you closely. The moment you stop talking to a woman, especially one who is used to your attention, something powerful begins to unfold behind the scenes. You might assume she's moved on or doesn't care, but what's really happening is far more nuanced. She starts watching you, not casually, intensely, quietly. Like a silent observer behind the curtain, her curiosity begins to rise. Women, by nature, are incredibly perceptive. But when a man who once gave her consistent validation suddenly goes quiet, her mind doesn't rest. It races. She might not text you, like your posts, or even make a comment, but believe this: she is watching everything. Your stories, your status updates, your energy shifts, it's all under her microscope. And it's not just what you post, it's what you don't say that echoes louder. Your silence becomes a mystery to her, and mystery builds emotional tension. As Marcus Aurelius once said, the soul becomes dyed with the colour of its thoughts. When she's thinking about you constantly, her emotional investment deepens, even if she doesn't show it. In real life, this plays out subtly. Maybe you're in the same social circle. Suddenly, she starts showing up at events where she knows you'll be. She glances your way a little longer. She pretends not to notice you, but her presence speaks volumes. She's not just being around you, she's studying you. You used to message her every morning, check in during the day, be part of her rhythm. Then you stopped. At first, she might act unbothered, but within days, she's on your Instagram stories, first to view. You post a gym selfie looking dialed in, focused, evolving, and that image sticks with her. It makes her wonder, why isn't he talking to me anymore? Who's taking up his attention now? That one change triggers a storm of questions in her mind. Silence becomes your strength. It signals that you've reclaimed your energy, and she feels that shift. Suddenly, she wants to know more, not about your day, but about your distance. Her casual, "So, you've been busy lately," isn't just small talk. It's a calculated probe. She wants answers without asking directly, because now you are the one in control of the narrative. This is ancient Stoic wisdom at play, mastery over emotion, over reaction. When you withdraw with calm strength, without drama or explanation, you change the dynamic. You shift from being the pursuer to being the mystery. He who angers you conquers you, said Elizabeth Kenny, and the same applies here. He who remains calm while the other becomes curious wins. If you've ever wondered what real power looks like in relationships, it's this: not chasing, not reacting, but being centered in your purpose and letting silence do the work. She starts thinking, and the more she thinks, the more she feels. Real attraction isn't built through words. It's built in the quiet moments when she's wondering where your attention has gone. So if you're in a situation like this now, don't rush back into conversation. Don't feel the need to explain yourself. Instead, stay calm, focused, and let her curiosity pull her towards you. And if this resonates with you, if you've ever seen a woman shift like this when you went silent, share your story in the comments. Let others learn from your experience. 2. She tests you with a random text. There's a moment in silence when something interesting happens, not immediately, but gradually, as the stillness you've created starts to work on her mind like a subtle pressure she can't quite name. At first, when you stop talking to a woman, she may appear unfazed. She'll act like nothing has changed, like your absence doesn't register. She may go about her day posting selfies, sharing memes, or laughing at something online, as if everything is business as usual. But silence is like water dripping on stone. It doesn't break it instantly, but over time, it leaves a mark. Days pass, maybe a week, and suddenly, out of nowhere, you get that message. Hey, what's up? Or perhaps a random meme that seems meaningless on the surface. But don't be fooled. That message, no matter how casual it looks, is far more than it appears. It's not about the words, it's about why they're being sent. That message is a probe, a test. She's quietly wondering, are you still there? Do you still care? Is the door still open for her if she decides to walk back through it? Women, by nature, are drawn to clarity. Uncertainty makes them restless, and your silence, that lack of engagement, creates a fog she can't see through. So she sends a signal, not too bold, not too vulnerable, but just enough to see how you'll respond. Here's where most men slip up. They see that message as an invitation, a green light, a reason to re-engage with full energy. They reply with enthusiasm, emojis, or even relief, thinking this is a sign she wants them back. But more often than not, it's not about wanting you. It's about testing you. She's trying to measure her influence over you. Are you still emotionally hooked? Are you still orbiting her world, ready to respond at a moment's notice? And if you respond too quickly, too eagerly, you hand her the answer she wanted. You've just told her, yes, I'm still here. You still have power over me. And once she feels that certainty again, the mystery vanishes. The chase dies and she pulls back, just like before, because now she knows you're still in her pocket. That's why the Stoic response isn't to jump at the bait. It's to remain centered, unshaken. If you reply at all, do it without emotion, without flair, and without handing her the validation she's fishing for. A simple all good or what's up suffices. Short, neutral, composed. No emojis, no exclamation marks, no return to old habits. This subtle act does more than protect your emotional frame. It shifts the dynamic completely. She starts to wonder. The same uncertainty she tried to get rid of now boomerangs back at her. She begins to question your state of mind, your level of interest, and perhaps for the first time, what she truly feels about you. In that space of unspoken tension, something powerful happens. You stop being the man she assumed would always be there and become the man she has to earn. In today's world, where messages are instant and attention is currency, restraint is rare. But this is exactly what makes it powerful. The ability to not react, to remain composed, and to resist the temptation to prove your worth through words. That's modern-day Stoicism in action. It doesn't just show emotional control, it demands respect. You're no longer playing by her rules, you're setting your own. And when a woman realizes she can't pull you back into her orbit with a half-hearted text, she begins to take you seriously. So if you're a man who's tired of doing all the chasing, tired of proving your value, understand this. Real strength is silent, and when you stop talking, you don't lose your power, you reveal it. 3. She posts to get your attention. When you go silent on a woman, when you withdraw your attention without explanation, you ignite a psychological fire she cannot ignore. Silence is not just the absence of noise, it's a message, a weapon, and a test. And make no mistake, she feels it. She senses the shift. Suddenly, she's no longer the center of your world, and that realization shakes her. So what does she do? She turns to the stage where attention is currency, social media. Overnight, her posts become strategic. A flawless selfie appears, curated for maximum impact. The lighting, perfect, the smile, mysteriously inviting. It's designed to hit your feed and trigger a response. Then comes the cryptic quote, one that hints at heartbreak, detachment, or the empowering decision to stop chasing what doesn't chase you. It's bait, psychological warfare. You're meant to wonder, is that about me? And right behind it, photos of her living her best life, out with friends, dressed to kill, laughing into the night, days after she complained about being bored and lonely. Why? Because she wants to reclaim control without seeming desperate. She doesn't message you directly. That would expose her hand. No, she wants you to break first, you to blink. She watches to see if you've viewed her story. She refreshes her notifications, hoping to see your name. And the moment you comment like, or show jealousy, she wins. She knows she still has real estate in your mind. She owns your attention. And attention is the ultimate currency of control. But here's where true Stoic strength separates the wise man from the weak. You don't engage, you don't chase, you observe, and you remain still. Because the moment you stop feeding the fire, the smoke starts to suffocate her. She spirals. She overthinks. Why isn't he reacting? Has he moved on? Did I lose him? Suddenly, you become the mystery. You become the prize. And in her attempt to manipulate you back into her orbit, she ends up orbiting you. As Marcus Aurelius once said, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. In this case, the best response is no response at all. A high-value man does not chase validation. He attracts it. He doesn't play emotional games. He ends them with indifference. When you withhold your attention, you are not being passive. You are demonstrating power. You are commanding respect without ever raising your voice. This is ancient Stoic wisdom applied to modern dynamics. Control yourself, and you control the game. So next time you see her posting to provoke a reaction, remember, your silence speaks louder than any reply. Your discipline shatters her illusion of control. Stay focused. Stay unmoved. Let her wonder. Let her chase. Because a man who masters his emotions becomes a man no woman can forget. If you felt the power of this truth, drop a comment below and type, I am the storm. Like this video, subscribe for more unshakable wisdom, and share it with a brother who needs to hear this today. 4. She acts like she doesn't care. When a woman starts acting like she doesn't care, after you go silent, everything on the surface appears calm, too calm. She doesn't text, doesn't call, doesn't ask mutual friends about you, and might even look like she's thriving, posting selfies with glowing captions, laughing in photos, and living her best life as if your presence never mattered. But here's the part that most men overlook. If a woman truly moves on, she doesn't need to prove it. There's no performance, no dramatic silence, no orchestrated display of joy. She simply fades, quietly, cleanly, and without a show. So when she suddenly starts putting on this picture-perfect act of indifference, that's when you should start paying attention, not because you need to chase her, but because you're witnessing a carefully constructed emotional strategy. Women are emotional alchemists. They can feel deeply while projecting control effortlessly. As the ancient Stoics would say, he who controls others may be powerful, but he who has mastered himself is mightier still. When she doesn't reach out, doesn't acknowledge you, and avoids all emotional signals, that's not always apathy. It's often a calculated test, a way of saying, let's see if he cracks before I do. In reality, she may be replaying your last conversation in her head, wondering why the messages stopped, questioning if you're seeing someone else. But instead of showing that, she masks it with coolness. She doesn't want to give you the satisfaction of knowing she's affected. It's a subtle psychological test designed to see if you'll break your silence first. Will you message her? Will you fall into the trap of trying to fix what she's pretending doesn't need fixing? This is where many men make the critical mistake. They start overanalyzing, second-guessing, spiraling into thoughts like, was I just a temporary thrill? Did I mean nothing to her? And in that moment of emotional uncertainty, they reach out, not for love, but for clarity. But by doing so, they surrender their position, and she regains control. This is why it's essential to remember. Real emotional detachment doesn't require performance. A woman who has genuinely moved on won't worry about what message she's sending you, because she's already past the point of caring. It's only when she does care that she feels the need to act like she doesn't. So what should you do in this silent standoff? Do nothing. Match her energy without malice. Focus on your path, your peace, your power. Let her see that your identity and purpose don't depend on her attention. As Epictetus wisely said, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Your response to her performance is where your strength lies. If she's playing the indifferent card to lure you back in, refusing to bite, is what flips the emotional pressure onto her. That's when her thoughts begin to shift. Why hasn't he reached out? Was I not as special as I thought? Has he moved on completely? That internal dialogue becomes her own torment, and you didn't have to lift a finger. Because if she genuinely didn't care, your silence wouldn't matter to her. The very fact that she's watching your response proves you're still in her mind. That's the irony. Indifference doesn't need validation, but her need to showcase it means it's not real. So men, if you're in this situation now, take a breath. Stay grounded. Let your stillness speak louder than her act. Share your experience in the comments. Have you ever seen a woman act like she didn't care, only to find out later she was deeply affected? Let's open the floor and help others learn from your wisdom. 5. She tries to make you jealous. Women are deeply intuitive when it comes to emotions, and whether they realize it consciously or not, many of them instinctively understand how to spark a reaction in a man, especially when they feel like the emotional power is slipping from their hands. One of the most common tactics they'll use when they sense your attention drifting or your silence growing louder is to try and provoke jealousy. This doesn't usually come in the form of blatant declarations or obvious flirting. Instead, it arrives subtly, dressed in casual comments and carefully curated social signals. She might mention how hilarious the new guy at work is, or how this random man she met at the gym struck up an interesting conversation with her. She won't say she's attracted to him outright, because that would be too obvious. No, she'll drop just enough detail to trigger your curiosity and stir your emotional waters. It's psychological chess, and the move is calculated. What she's really doing is planting a seed in your mind, one that blooms into uncertainty, comparison, and most dangerously, self-doubt. And that's where most men fall into the trap. The average guy, unaware of the game being played, feels the twinge of jealousy and thinks it's love resurfacing. He worries she might be slipping away, and in a reactive attempt to reclaim her attention, he does the exact thing she was hoping for. He chases. He texts. He asks about the other guy. Maybe he even tries to one-up this fictional competitor by reminding her how great he is. But the moment he does that, he surrenders the upper hand. Because once she sees that you're still emotionally hooked, that her efforts to stir your jealousy worked, she no longer needs to worry about where she stands in your mind. You've given her certainty, and in the realm of attraction, certainty is what kills desire. Now, here's where Stoic wisdom steps in like a guiding light, When a woman genuinely likes another man, she doesn't announce it to the world. She simply goes. She quietly explores it. She disappears emotionally from you without broadcasting her moves. So if she's making sure you know about him, it's not because she's really interested in the guy, it's because she wants you to be interested in her again. Think of it like this. Imagine you're deep in a meaningful conversation with someone you're truly drawn to at a party. Are you suddenly going to pause that interaction to text someone else about how incredible another person is? Of course not. Your mind and heart are already present. The same logic applies here. If she were genuinely captivated by another man, she wouldn't care about how you perceive it. So when she posts that photo with a guy she just happened to be standing close to, or she adds a caption that's just vague enough to raise questions, she's not trying to move on. She's trying to pull you back in. She knows you'll see it, and she's watching closely for your reaction. Now, here's where real masculine power shines. Don't react. Don't text. Don't ask. Don't give her the validation she's fishing for. Your silence, your emotional control, and your ability to stay centered in your own frame is what makes you powerful in her eyes. Because the moment she realizes her attempts to make you jealous aren't working, the performance loses its power. And then she starts to feel the very thing she tried to make you feel, uncertainty. That's when the dynamic quietly flips. Suddenly, she's not sure where she stands with you. She starts wondering if you've truly moved on, if you've emotionally detached, if she miscalculated your depth. And that's when she starts thinking about you more than the game she was playing. In modern life, where so much of dating and attraction is shaped by online signaling, social media posts, and reactive behaviours, your ability to stay calm, detached, and wise is your ultimate strength. You don't need to win her back by outcompeting imaginary rivals. You win by being the man who doesn't flinch, the man who doesn't fall for emotional traps, the man who lives on his own terms. Let her play her game. But remember, you're the one who holds the board if you refuse to play it. That's where real respect, real mystery, and real value begins. 6. She comes back, but on her terms. When she comes back, but only on her terms, understand this. It's not love, it's a power play. At first, she acted like she was done with you. She ignored your presence, pretended not to care, maybe even flaunted other men in your face just to provoke a reaction. She wanted to make you feel invisible. But now, out of nowhere, she returns. Not with an apology, not with humility, not with any sign of self-reflection. She just slips back in with a casual, "Hey!" A reaction to your story, a meaningless gesture that says nothing but tests everything. She's not here because she misses you. She's here because she's checking if the door is still open. Remember this truth. Just because someone desires you does not mean they value you. Генезрение, что не стоицизм, что выживание. A woman who truly sees your worth doesn't vanish when things get tough and return only when it's convenient. She doesn't treat your presence like a revolving door. When you pulled away, it shook her, not because she lost someone she cherishes, but because she lost control. She's not back for love, she's back for leverage. And this is where most men collapse. The moment she reaches out, they light up. They think, "She came back. She must regret losing me." Wrong. Most of the time, she's not coming back for connection, she's coming back for confirmation. She wants to know she still owns space in your mind. She wants proof that you're still emotionally available to her, even after she withdrew. That's not affection, that's manipulation. And a man who does not stand firm becomes her pawn. She sends a breadcrumb and you chase. She disappears and you wait. She returns and you open the door. No standards, no boundaries, no questions asked. And once she knows she can walk in and out of your life without consequences, she will do it again, and again, and again. Because she's not afraid of losing you. She's afraid of losing her access to you. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." That applies here. If her intentions are not pure, don't entertain her. If her presence is not real, do not reward it. You must break the cycle. When she reaches out with weak energy, do not match it. Do not respond to laziness with attention. If she's not bringing accountability, clarity, and consistency, she's not worthy of your time. A high-value man knows his worth and never lets anyone re-enter his life without proving they've changed. You are not a checkpoint on her emotional journey. You are not a placeholder while she figures herself out. You are the destination, and only a woman who knows what she's looking for and brings full presence deserves to stand beside you. If she wants back in, let her earn it. Let her sweat. Let her prove it. Because if you don't set the standard, she never will. And if you don't respect yourself, she never will either. So next time she casually reappears, don't get excited. Get focused. Don't respond out of hope. Respond with strength. If she's not all in, then she's out. That's how a man of power moves. That's how a Stoic king operates. If you feel this truth in your bones, drop a comment below and type, "My worth is not negotiable." Like this video, subscribe for more unshakable wisdom, and share this message with a man who needs to hear it before it's too late. 7. She moves on, or tries to. There comes a moment when the woman you stop talking to will seemingly stop caring altogether. She won't reach out, won't test you with posts, won't try to get your attention through subtle glances or cryptic social media activity. And on the surface, it might look like she's finally moved on, but the truth beneath that surface is often far more complex. When a woman realizes her silence, her mind games, her attempts to stir jealousy no longer hold power over you, when she sees that you're not reacting, she's backed into a corner emotionally. Now, she has two roads to choose from. She can either come back with sincerity, vulnerability, and genuine intent, or she can convince herself she's over it. Most of the time, especially in today's emotionally reactive world, she chooses the second path. She doesn't heal. She performs. Suddenly, she's announcing to the world that she's never been happier. Perhaps showcasing a new guy on her arm, flaunting a so-called glow-up, and doing everything she can to create a public narrative of strength and indifference. But here's the Stoic truth. True detachment doesn't need to be performed. It exists in stillness. As the philosopher Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." When a woman rushes to replace rather than reflect, she's wasting time trying to suppress what still lingers inside her heart. Real life confirms this all the time. You've likely seen it. Maybe your ex suddenly jumped into a relationship with someone new, posting romantic dinners and vacation photos just weeks after your silence. You're left wondering if you meant anything at all. But remember, people who are truly over something don't need to prove they are. They are. If she's broadcasting happiness, it's often because she's trying to feel it, not because she already does. While men tend to sit in the pain longer, thinking deeply about what went wrong before moving on, women often look for emotional distractions, ways to escape reflection. It's not a flaw. It's a difference in processing. But if you're not careful, this performance can pull you back in. You'll see her smile, her new relationship, her "I've never felt this free" posts, and suddenly feel like you've lost her for good. That panic might push you to reach out, to win her back, to check if she still feels something. But the moment you do that, you hand over all the power. Now she knows you're still affected, and the emotional balance shifts. This is what she was unconsciously aiming for all along, confirmation that she still matters. And in doing so, she regains control of the very game she once lost. That's why, if you see her pretending to move on, don't interfere. Let her run her course. You must be the still water in the storm, the unmoved man. As Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Stay grounded even if she paints you as the one who didn't care, because reacting only validates her strategy. Be the man who knows his worth, regardless of what she's trying to prove. The best response? Do nothing. Stay focused. Stay grounded. Let time do its work. If she truly moves on, so be it. Because a woman who can leave that easily was never fully yours in the first place. But if she was just pretending, eventually the act will fade, and when it does, she will be the one questioning what she lost. The man who remains unshaken wins in the end. Stay that man. If you found value in this video, make sure to like, share it with someone who needs this message, and subscribe with notifications turned on so you never miss another lesson in Stoic wisdom and modern masculinity. And hey, if you've got thoughts, experiences, or questions about what we just covered, don't keep them to yourself. Drop a comment below and let's have a real conversation. This channel is here for you. Simple truths, real talk, and no fluff. Before you go, comment to lock this in. A true Stoic man moves in silence, not desperation. Until next time, stay grounded, stay sharp, and remember, your value doesn't drop just because someone couldn't see it.